Good afternoon. I'm going to continue the tour today from Kefalonia up the Ionian Sea to Corfu, and it's a bit of a sightseeing trip from my holiday islands, basically, because I've stayed on Kefalonia. We're going to fly over or past Lefkas, or Lefkadia as it's known, and then as we fly towards Corfu we'll be passing across Paxos and Antipaxos, both places of which my wife and I have visited over the years, so it's a bit of a trip down memory lane for me today, but hope you'll enjoy it just as much probably as hopefully I will. But so I'm not going to bother with the pushback because we've got plenty of room. We'll just swivel round to the right and then to the left. We're going to take off on the northerly facing runway. So let's get ourselves sorted here. I don't know where the it's about in the middle, isn't it? So we'll have our fuel pumps on, cross feeds on for both tanks, and electronics master. Apparently we don't put the fuel pumps on for departure according to the checklist anyway, but we'll see. If they won't start, I'll try and start them with the pumps on. So I've started my Skytrack already, so that's good. Didn't forget it this time. So let's see if we can... it does start without the fuel pumps on, which is interesting. Put the avionics on. Avionics master can go on. Pitot heat can go on. We'll have our taxi lights on. Position lights on. Okay. Parking brake off. So as you can see, we fly across Kefalonia. Let's have a quick look. I've got it on here. Oh, I haven't connected yet. Let's connect. So we're here at the moment. Although this is just a direct path line, we're the flight in 2020 takes you from up this way and then across up the Ionian Sea to Corfu. So this is Lefkas. One has to where are we? One has to fly into LGPZ and then drive across a little isthmus, I think it's called, onto the island of Lefkas. So it's sort of connected via a very low road across the water. When my wife and I stayed there, the Thursday before we left on the Saturday, there was a earthquake. I'll tell you more about that later. Excuse me. So that's where we're headed today. Right, so everything's up and running. Some flaps for takeoff, and release the parking brake. Let's have a bit of full right rudder so that we can get past this without knocking his head off, hopefully. Yeah, plenty of room. Okay, so now I'm going to swap around this way. I want to head down the runway, so we'll taxi across the apron here. From that exit down there. Hope you can all hear me okay. I've got the engine sounds etc. coming out my speakers and just my voice on the microphone, so not sure the balance between the two, but we shall see at the end of the recording. Hopefully it will. I've got the microphone turned up a few decibels, so hopefully it will be okay. So I'll just go down this end of the runway a little way, not right to the end, because jets land on here, so I think that will be sufficient actually. So we'll slow ourselves down a bit. And then we'll give it a turn it around and be ready to go. Oh, it turns on a sixpence nicely, doesn't it? Okay. Flaps set for takeoff. Landing lights on. Position strobe lights on. Taxi lights off. Okay, let's go. I've taken the autumn trees off because I don't think they'd have autumn trees quite the same in Greece. And to be honest, most of the time they are either cypress type trees or olive trees, so which I believe are evergreen anyway. Okay, and off we go. Just got to fly it manually for a little bit. So I'll have to gear up. Flaps up. Set this up to 3,000 feet.
Engaging autopilot.
I'm not going to turn on the flight path just yet, so we're not high enough to get over these hills here, so down here. Port of Kefalonia. Not really what that's called actually. Let's see. Kefalonia town or something. Not sure. I think we'll cut through this gap here, I think. So if I set the heading round to there, roughly. We can whiz through there. found out to change this to inches. What's that one? So it's 1020, which is quite high pressure. That's about 30.15 probably. 30.15. I'll do it. Right, go on the heading mode. Further around than that actually. I was going to go through that gap, but because I was looking at the Q&H baro setting, I missed it, so I'll just go over this little peak here. And we can see the coast behind us. Quick snapshot. So we'll head on over to Kefalonia, which is one of these two. I think it's this one actually. I'm not going to fly directly over the route because it takes us over the highest point, but I want to fly up the east side of the island because that was the main area, resort area, and whatever. And I'll try and point out roughly where we had a bit of my son holidayed with us that time. But as I say, there was a earthquake shortly before, and we did experience some shakes, aftershakes, afterquakes, I suppose. What they call aftershocks. That's the word I was looking for. Let's back a little bit. And some of their coastlines are not really done that well. You've got water. It's the same sort of thing you get with author photos on X-Plane, but sometimes the coastline mapping is not as good as it could be, and you're left with what appears to be little water running up the side of the cliffs, but they're probably bays, but of course the way it's sometimes works, it doesn't always reflect the fact that it's maybe a cliff, not a sheer cliff or something. It's filling in a little bit though as we get closer. So you've got all this around here that gets a bit odd at times. Whereas when we get closer, it does fill in. The distance, it always looks a bit odd, a bit of a shame. It's probably to do with the speed of my PC, because then down there it looks fine. Yeah, once the rocks are filled in, it looks okay. Cliffs but for some reason, until you're up close, it doesn't look quite right. But, can't have everything. Okay, we need to. Oh no, I'm gonna head up the east side. So I'll keep tracking the way we are, and then we'll go over the isthmus where the road is, and now you can see. I can't remember the name of that airport. Let me look it up. I'll remember it as soon as I see it. But I should remember it. Actian International Airport, but that's not what I was thinking it was. What does it say? Preveza, that's what it's known as in the aviation world, or you know, when you're booking holidays and things, if EasyJet or whatever fly into Preveza or Ryanair, it's that sort of airport size. So we'll see if we can see the airport as we cross over. It should be on our right hand side as we cross the Isthmus Road. Don't know how they've depicted that in the sim. So we've got about an hour's flight today, with the slight detours, of course. If we'd gone direct, it might have been 45 minutes or so, but yes, obviously in sort of X-plane speeds, like the level of detail distance, but I think I've got the level of detail turned up, so let me just quickly check. Level of detail, well, let's put it up a little bit more and see whether that makes any difference, because that's probably the LOD distance. Hasn't yet, but give it a chance. I might fill in a bit earlier. It's because we've already loaded that in. But, you can see, because this part of Greece is quite sort of mountainous around here. Hence the. I think the earthquake was actually off the coast somewhere, but it was very close by, and it affected the island of Lefkis. I must admit, it was quite a beautiful island, Lefkis. Quite big, actually. Quite a large island. We'll probably get a bit of turbulence over these hills. Of thermals coming off the hills, and hot sunny weather. I don't know what the temperature was actually. The temperature was about 15, I think. Or 19 the temperature was at Kefalonia, so probably about the same here. lights on. That looks more like green trees rather than all those autumn colours. Mind you, I've never actually been to Greece in like November, so I guess some of them will have autumn colours on, and when we stayed here, we stayed in a villa that was right up on the top here somewhere. I mean, I don't think it was as low down as this, but we did go to a restaurant probably up here somewhere, which was recommended to us, probably along this sort of village road up here or here. I'm not sure precisely where, but we sat on the terrace and we looked down below our table, and there was a crack going all the way along the terrace as a result of the earthquake, and it was a bit disconcerting. As I say, we had a villa somewhere up around here, or maybe up here, I don't know. We were definitely looking southeastwards out across the island, so the sort of view we had would have been, let's see, yeah, the view we had was looking out that way, I think, you know, looking out across there. So it's quite a spectacular view, but we had a few cracks around the villa, but nothing major. We did have an aftershock one night, and the bed shook. And we joked, you know, did the earth move for you as well, darling? No, we were fast asleep and it woke us up. So yeah, here's what they call the isthmus that you drive across from Preveza airport. So you have to drive round here, and then you drive across this road, comes round here. We'll have a look in a minute when we get a bit closer. So if I turn a bit more to the left, and this is the main town of Lefkas down below us, Lefkada. So a lot of Greek islands seem to be known as two things. I mean, we call it Lefkas, but I think they call it Lefkada, which is a bit different. Yeah, so here's the roadway comes along here, and then it winds. No, it doesn't wind round there. It must go across a little bridge and then comes across here into the town of Lefkas, which is down below us here. There's got a harbour there as well. I don't know if there's a road along there or whether it's just a created a lagoon, you know, a sandbank. Can't remember. I don't think it went along there. I certainly remember that the road winds round here and then comes across here, and then you get across onto here. I don't think we went that way. I don't think we came this way, but definitely comes round into the town. We hired a car at the airport. So the airport of Preveza is over here, and it's quite a precarious airport to land. You have to come in. We landed towards the Ionian, so we sort of come in across these mountains and then come round this way and then come in, drop down and around. It's quite an interesting airport to land at. So that's us now. And we've got, I think that's probably Paxos possibly out in front of it. Yeah, so we've got Anti-Paxos and Paxos, and then Corfu in the far distance. So I think if you'll excuse me for a little while, I shall leave it running. Not there's an awful lot of scenery, but I'm going to jump downstairs and get myself a drink, and we'll see you back in a little while. Just get it on the right heading. I was going to say that didn't seem right. It's and now it's switched, which is okay. Right. Okay. Get outside again. Fly over there's the airport there, and the vet centre's behind me. And the mountains of the Greek. Is it the Greek mainland? I guess it is. Yeah, it's still Greece there, it's not Albania. Albania's opposite Corfu, I think. Not sure where the borderline is, although it looks like we might just be crossing the borderline between Greece and Albania. So I'll put a bit of music on, and it says I've got a bit of music on. I can't get my strange. I won't put Greek music on. I know I have the last few, but let's see what else I've got. Another one. Right, excuse me a minute, I'll just go and grab a drink and then I'll be back. Well, that was nicely timed. I'm back, guys. Gals. Any gals watching? Guys and gals. Okay. So how are we doing? Now, what I haven't done is tuned in the couple of VORs for Corfu. So the first one we got is the Kirkira VOR, which is 114.7. So we'll go decimal 7 and 114. So that should be KRK. And then we have at the airport is Goritsa, which is 108.8. So if we tune in 108.8 in preparation, and then when we reach Kirkira VOR, we'll switch it across to the Goritsa VOR. It's a VOR approach. So looking at the Navigraph display. So we're flying in towards Kirkira VOR, and then we'll come round the island along the southern end of the island, and then in towards the VOR, while they're landing VOR Z for runway 34. I think the winds are about 27, something like that, but I think 27. So it's crosswind, but I think the winds are light, so I don't think it'll be too much of an issue. So that's our landing route. And there was a couple of other stories I forgot to mention about the earthquake. Once when we were out at a little taverna, we were sat having a drink. I don't think we were eating, but we were having a drink, and there was this row of chairs along the side of the taverna, and the chairs started swaying in unison, all by themselves. I mean, we could feel it in our chairs, but to actually see the empty chairs moving from side to side was quite something. It only lasted about, I don't know, probably 3 seconds, if that, 3 or 4 seconds, and then it stopped. It was just a mild aftershocks. And then when we were out and about visiting a fishing port, I can't remember the name of it, they had this long jetty for the fishing boats and things to moor up against, and it had a crack running the whole length of it, right the way down the jetty. So it was like as if it snapped in two. There's a few roads that had cracks in and things as well, but nothing too major. I think there was a few buildings had some rubble come down, but I'm glad I wasn't there when the earthquake actually happened. But we were a bit worried because it happened. We heard it on the news on the Thursday, I think it was, and we were due to fly out. I think it was on the Saturday, and so on the following morning we got on to the travel company to find out if they knew what the situation was, and they said that whilst there had been some minor damage to some buildings, that as far as they were aware, everything was okay to continue the holiday, which we did. And to be honest, we didn't, apart from a few little minor aftershocks, we didn't have any other issues at all. Thank heaven. Right, so let's, if we switch this to VOR1 and set the course, rather than following the GPS. So we're about spot on for the VOR at the moment. In fact, we can put it on nav mode, I guess, for now. And then when we get to the VOR, just before we want to fly 256, heading at 256, so we can preset the heading to 256, which is there. switch the nav frequencies to pick up the VOR at the airport, which would be roughly about 3-4, so the needle will swivel around there, and effectively the localizer will trip in. But in this plane it doesn't seem to work like in a Boeing where you can pick up a localizer. So I'll steer I'll change the heading round manually to line up with the localizer when it starts moving towards us. So here, it's Corfu. We missed. Oh yeah, there we are. Sorry, I meant to show you these two. The sun's a bit in our way at the moment. It's a bit of a shame. Anyway, this is Antipaxos, and the town of, I think it's Gaios is down here in this bay. It's another island that hasn't changed much at all over the years. I mean, it was many years ago when my children were 30, well, teenagers, I suppose, but we visited there. In fact, my wife and I visited there on our own very early on in our relationship, I suppose. And there's some fabulous fishing ports up the north end of the island. We hired a bike while we were there, and drove up to the north end. And over here is Antipaxos. That's what it's called. I think it's this one. I don't think it's these little ones. I think it's this one over here. And we took a day trip out there. So it's just a sort of almost uninhabited island. But there's no airport on Paxos, so you have to fly into Corfu and then take a ferry from Corfu harbour. I think it's a ferry. Yeah, it was a ferry. It wasn't hydrofoil. But they might have hydrofoils now. I don't know. So this is us coming up to the southern tip of Corfu. It's a lot flatter this area, but then it gets quite hilly up north. It goes all the way up here. It's quite a big long snake of an island. Those that don't know it, I'll show you on the map. So yeah, it's sort of comes all the way around here down. I should think most people are probably aware of Corfu or visited there, but if you have, hopefully you can spot some of the places you stayed at. When my wife and I first visited Corfu, we stayed at Masongi, but I'm not even sure. It might be down along here somewhere. I honestly can't remember. It was years and years ago, 40 years ago plus. I was first and only ever time that I tried water skiing, and managed to stay up for a little while. It might have been along here somewhere, because I know there was a river that came in. But then there probably are several rivers that come in. Could have been here. I know it was a long stretch of beach anyway. But then again it could have been up here, but I can't really remember, to be honest. So again, we hired bikes and we could drive up somewhere to up on one of the hills. Yeah, it could well have been along here somewhere. You know. I know we had a little place right on the front. We just walked out the back. Yeah, probably was along this stretch. Along here somewhere. So I remember there was a bit that you could almost walk across, but you couldn't because it looked so good. And I think it probably is this area. Anyway, we're coming up to the VOR pretty soon on this edge, so I think we will go on the heading mode in a minute. We'll go on the heading mode before the VOR types start spinning. So there's the VOR moving off, look. Anyway, so if we switch this to 108 to Garrison, yep, so that's it over there, in that direction. I want to come down to 2,900 feet, which is what the chart says. Or no, we can probably come down, if we're going to go straight in, which we are, we'll come down to about 2,000 feet, I think. Well, we're going to go down. Why are we going up, not down? So I turned the autopilot off, that's why. Silly me. Okay, so let's turn over this way. Gone slightly too far, but not too bad. And I want to head to 3-4 something, 343. 3-4-2-3. Round to 343, and we should be pretty well on it. Slightly off, but there's a runway straight in front of us, so we can see that quite well. Going down 2,000 feet at the moment. So we'll have bleed some speed off. Too fast there anyway, I was in the yellow. We'll be autopilot off. Oops. Engaging autopilot. Why has it still got AP up there? Engaging autopilot. Is that on or off? I think that's on, isn't it? Oh, that's interesting. Doesn't seem to want to go off. Maybe it goes off when I hit 2,000. Don't know. Anyway. I know we come in at a slight offset angle. Yeah, it's not going off. Go off, you silly thing. Doing now. Right, let me take it. I haven't had this before like this, I don't know why it's doing that. Because I've still got the AP up here, but it's not letting me turn it off. Engaging autopilot. For some reason. Which is a wee bit annoying. Why is it not letting me turn it off? Well, it's not on heading mode. Some flaps on. Let me gear down. I'm going to be too high at this rate. It wants to recapture that 2,000 feet, but
engaging autopilot.
I'm not going to.
Engaging autopilot.
What's he saying? Whoops, I'll be down in the drink at this rate. That's a wee bit annoying. It's a mind of its own sometimes, 2020, which is a bit annoying. A bit of a shame. I'm having to push the yoke forward quite a way because it just won't let me turn the autopilot off. So this is going to be an interesting attempt. Too high now. Just about. There's Mouse Island to our right hand side. We're just coming in over Mouse Island. A little chapel on it. Again, far too many trees. Unless they've grown up a lot since I was last here. Another chapel on that harbour bit there, look. Can't really see the hotel in the woods there, well, I suppose a bit. That's a nice long runway and the terminal's down the other end, so they drift down. Feet per minute. Excellent. That was quite a good landing, all being told, bearing in mind that the autopilot didn't seem to go off. And I was having to... Well, I think it went off, but it just wasn't indicating that it was off. Now we can go off this fast bit here. Welcome to Corfu, your holiday destination. Let's just go around. Oh no, there's a plane there. I suppose we ought to go over where that other little Cessna is, I think. Now this is a freeware add-on airport. It looks quite good. It's not too bad. For Corfu. I think we'll just come over this way. I don't think there's a little plane there, but it doesn't matter. Let's come over here. We'll take up a airliner's slot, shall we? are. Our passengers can go straight into the arrivals hall. Parking brake on. And right. Get the engines turned off. And we can shut these off. Pardon me. And there we are. Let's have a quick look outside. Let's have a go with the drone. And go up with the drone, have a look around, shall we? So there's Corfu old town over there with the castle. Should be a castle on that, on this area here. But Corfu harbour, where you pick up the ferry for Paxos. And yeah. Well, it does look pretty good. Probably not as accurate as it could be with, but it's as near as damn it. Lagoon, setting sun. Looks like there's a GA area over there, but I wasn't going to go all over that way. That possibly is the GA landing area. I don't know. But yeah, there we are, and across the Ionian there is Albania. So there we go. Thanks for watching, and hope you join me again next time. I look forward to it, and I'm not sure where we fly to next time, to be honest. Let's just have a quick look. Prepare you for it. Corfu to Castoria, which I've never been there, so it'll be interesting. But they all look much of a muchness, to be honest, the Greek islands. But so thanks again for watching, and keep safe, and I'll see you again next time.